How Marilyn Monroe Built a Production Company. Update 2023. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about how Marilyn Monroe built a production company. Let's get right into it. In her time, Marilyn Monroe was often perceived only through the lens of her physical allure and the trope of a tragic damsel. In the movie Blonde, she was depicted as such yet again, but the truth is, Marilyn was an intellectual, passionate about reading and acting. She wasn't a puppet in Hollywood's hands, but a pioneer, one of the first actresses to establish her own production company, challenging the patriarchal studio system. In 1954, frustrated by the hollow roles and meager paycheck at Fox, Marilyn made a bold escape to New York. She wished for more than being part of low-grade films where her acting took a back seat to scenery. She expressed her disgust for a script by returning it labeled trash to Darryl F. Zanuck's office. Disguised under a pseudonym, Zelda Zonk, she fled to Manhattan. With her friend and photographer Milton Green, she began crafting plans for her own production company, Marilyn Monroe Productions. On January 7th, 1955, the announcement of this new venture was made in the presence of journalists and friends at her lawyer Frank Delaney's house. Monroe held 51% of the company, making her the president, and Green held the remaining 49%. This marked a groundbreaking moment for Marilyn and Hollywood, a statement of her determination to defy the restrictive and sexist work frame of her studio contract. Elizabeth Winder, author of Marilyn in Manhattan, states this move as Marilyn's pursuit of creative freedom. Marilyn, at the time, told journalist Edward R. Murrow, "I don't mind doing musicals and comedies, but I'd like to do dramatic parts too." Fox wasn't about to let one of its biggest stars walk away easily, promptly suing Monroe for contract violation. After a year-long negotiation, they struck a compromise with her production company. The resolution provided Marilyn with a significant pay hike, creative control over her productions, and a settlement for past earnings. As Winder reflects, Marilyn was virtually powerless before. Being able to do all that was a complete switch. She loved her craft and yearned to perform roles that weren't belittling. Marilyn Monroe? A woman with a will of iron who desired more than anything to live life on her own terms. Monroe's win against Fox, seen as a historic triumph, was lauded widely. Time labelled her a shrewd businesswoman, and the LA Mirror hailed it as an actress's supreme victory. The Morning Telegraph, not forgetting to detail her physical attributes, declared Monroe had brought Fox to its knees. This was not journalistic hyperbole. Monroe's feat indeed marked a monumental shift in the Hollywood studio system. Dominating since the 1930s, this system was witnessing a downturn due to economic factors, including the Paramount decrees. Monroe's creation of her own production company delivered a severe blow to the existing framework. She gained unprecedented control over her career, no longer needing to dance to the tune of unpredictable studios and their moguls. The studio system, already faltering, was hit hard by losing control over its stars. This spurred the decline of the old guard and paved the way for the new Hollywood of the 60s. Monroe inspired fellow stars like Frank Sinatra, Paul Newman, Sidney Poitier, and Barbra Streisand to carve their paths. However, this image of Monroe as a powerful entrepreneur often gets sidestepped in biographies and films such as Netflix's Blonde. Andrew Dominik's portrayal strips Monroe of her agency, depicting her as a mere instrument for men. Sadly, this won't be the last such portrayal. Elizabeth Winder remarks, "Our culture often reduces women to stereotypes. It's simpler to perpetuate the dumb blonde cliché rather than to understand who Marilyn truly was. She was a voracious reader, a creator, and a thinker, a woman constantly seeking acknowledgement for her authentic self." Post her legal victory, Monroe and her company acquired the rights for The Prince and the Showgirl to be directed by her co-star, Laurence Olivier. This became one of the only two films produced by her company. Before The Prince and the Showgirl, Marilyn Monroe Productions released Bus Stop, a William Inge play adaptation directed by Joshua Logan. It offered Monroe her first substantial role as Sherry, letting her channel her learnings from the actor's studio. However, her production company stopped after only 2 films. Monroe's life started spiraling downwards, tragically ending with her death in 1962 at just 36 years old. Nowadays, Monroe is more remembered as the girl with the billowing skirt over a subway grate than a pioneer. She's frozen in time, observes Elizabeth Winder. People resist revisiting her life. Even today, it's challenging to reconcile the multiple facets of a woman, especially one like Marilyn with extreme vulnerability. It's tough for people to acknowledge her incredible achievements alongside her vulnerability. They see them as mutually exclusive. Winder posits that had Monroe conquered her personal struggles, including addiction and mental health issues, she could have become a producer and director. She had a deep understanding of directing. Her self-assurance would have solidified, leading her to create movies that resonate with people, are intriguing and thought-provoking, the polar opposite of studio action and franchise films. I imagine her as a producer, Winder muses. This vision of Monroe as an industry game-changer and film producer is indeed a more fitting tribute to her ambitions and spirit than the customary legends she's often reduced to. That's all for today, and we'll be sure to catch you all in the next one.